Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment, and today we're going to talk about grower champagnes. What exactly are they? Why are they becoming increasingly more popular, and are they worth the hype? First of all, if you haven't watched my video about Champagne region in general, be sure to do so, as it was filmed directly in the vineyards of Champagne and will give you a good overview of the region where the world's best sparkling wine is made. Champagne wine region is dominated by large houses, often referred as Grand Marques. We all know them and love them. Names such as Taittinger, Bollinger, Piper Heidsieck, Louis Roederer, and of course Moët Chandon are strongly associated with the name Champagne. When you're buying these wines, you definitely know what you will get in terms of style and quality. Grand Marques are available worldwide, both in retail markets and bars, restaurants, and hotels. Unfortunately, they are not able to meet market demand by harvesting grapes only from the vineyards they own. Therefore, they will buy extra: grapes, juice, and even wine. That is represented on the labels, where you will find small letters NM or négociant manipulant. On the other hand, grower estates can be recognized by the letters RM or récoltant manipulant. And this is the biggest difference between large brand-driven champagne estates and grower champagnes. Growers will only make champagne from the vineyards they own. However, with increasing demand of champagne and the prices going up, some were encouraged to start their own champagne production. For many, it was a success, and they gained cult status amongst wine professionals and lovers, with the greatest example being Jacques Salos. Being grower estate means that whoever is bottling and labeling the wine will also have full control over vineyards and viticultural practices. It also means that they are more affected by the vintage variations than the large houses, because each year they have to work with what they got. And to some extent, grapes and terroir they work with will also affect the wine style they make. For example, if winemaker only owns Chardonnay vineyards, she or he will not be able to make Blanc de Noir wines. In my video on how champagne is made, which I will link in the description below, I talk how essentially champagne is a blend of different grapes, of different vineyards, and of different vintages. However, the trend that is strongly associated with grower champagnes is the increased focus on expressing unique terroir and highlighting the differences between them, instead of blending different villages and single vineyards into one wine. It is something that was started by Philippe Onat and their Clos de Gouas, followed by Krug's Clos de Menil and Clos de Ambonnet. However, I think that grower estates have really cemented it nowadays, and increasingly more producers are making single vineyard champagnes, even if sometimes their terroir is really not capable of producing the quality expected. Best producers make amazing wines from the terroir they own though, and some even choose to standardize the winemaking, thus allowing to express the differences between each vintage as well. While we are talking about wines, it is worth to mention that it is not that uncommon for growers to make champagnes with lower dosage, meaning lower sugar added. It would be wrong for me to generalize, but Grand Marques usually operate around 7 to 9 grams of residual sugar per liter, while growers tend to have lower levels at around 4 to 5 grams of residual sugar per liter, and some even choose not to add any sugar to their final wines, which then can be labeled as zero dosage or brut nature. This brings us to another topic, which is transparency of the labels. There are exceptions, of course, but you will not find this information on most of the Grand Marques wine labels. Grower estates, however, tend to go completely transparent with the information they share. So on the label you can find not only the amount of residual sugar, but also the disgorgement date, vintage the wine is based on, and the amount of reserve wines used. Some also argue that grower estates are closer linked with low intervention winemaking, as well as responsible and green viticulture, in order to preserve their unique terroir. But grower estates are not the only ones in this fight, and large champagne houses are also taking part in it, such as Pommery, Louis Roederer, and Piper Heidsieck. Interestingly, both parties don't seem to be very focused on getting the latest certifications, but rather pursue sustainable viticulture as means for increasing health of the soil and improving the ecosystem of their land, thus hopefully increasing the quality of their wines. The most unique and probably well-known and sought-after grower estate champagne is Jacques Salos. Others to note are Agrapay, Fils, Pierre Gimonet and l'Armagnac Bernier, who are making beautiful Chardonnay-based wines. Aigle-Lioret, Paul Barat and Apollonis are great examples of wines that are based on the red grape varieties. I hope you liked my video. If you want to know how safely open a bottle of champagne using Sabre, make sure to watch my other video here.